Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Teachers That Sparkle. I am in my office, but sitting in a different location because, can you believe it? The internet is out. The internet is out and it's going to be out for a while, and I've got work to do. So hopefully this workaround works okay and we're able to get everything uploaded and ready for you this week on the YouTube channel for Teachers That Sparkle. This week, I want to talk about another one of our top 10 reasons or things that you can do to make your classroom the best classroom it can possibly be. We've been talking about these for the last couple of weeks, and this week we're on number 3, which is another one of my favorites. Of course, they all are, but this one is really important because it's really difficult to accomplish sometimes, and that is to avoid power struggles. Now, let me just tell you, so many of us just think we're the adult, they are the child, and so they should just listen. Well, that's not how it goes for many of our students anymore. And honestly, I don't even know if that's really how it goes for our own children all the time, right? I used to remember finding myself getting caught up in these power struggles with my partner in crime, Kimberly from Teachers That Sparkle, when it was something that she really wanted and she really felt passionately about, and she wanted to really do it, and I really didn't want her to. I think it's really easy for us to get caught up in that, not just in the classroom, but in our own regular personal lives. And I think that this is one of those skills that if you can master this, you're like going to revolutionize your entire world. That's just my thought. So let's talk about the classroom in particular. How many times have you been in a situation where a student has done something in the classroom and you can clearly tell that they're upset and they do not want to listen to your correction or what you're trying to get them to do, and it just keeps going and it's building? You can feel it. You can feel it building in your soul, right? For example, you may say, okay, Johnny, you've got to sit down. And Johnny says, no, I don't want to. And the first knee-gut reaction that we have is, oh, yes, you will, because I'm in charge, right? That's what we're thinking in our mind, but we keep ourselves controlled and we say something like, Johnny, the rule is that you have to sit down in your seat. We're in class, and if you're up walking around, then you are bothering and distracting other students. And what does Johnny say? So, I don't care. Now we're boiling a little bit more, right? You feel it building a little bit more. And so you feel like you have to say something. And so many times we say, I said, sit in your seat. Johnny simply looks at you and says, no. And we feel sometimes the need to say yes. And that power struggle, y'all, can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for so long. And here's why. Because the child, even though they're a child, they have not developed that skill yet to be able to just accept consequences when they do something that's not correct. And by talking back and continuing to push it, they're able to get some attention. They're able to delay the consequence from happening. Now, probably in their mind, they know if at some point in time, I'm really going to be in trouble and I'm making this a whole lot worse than what it needs to be. But at that point, they really don't care because now they have to save face. They don't want to be embarrassed in the classroom that now they're arguing with you. You've gotten into that argument with them. And by golly, they are not going to lose in front of their peers. And what's it doing for you? Did you hear me mention a few minutes ago, you feel like you're boiling on the inside, you're feeling it in your soul, you know it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and now you're in a place where you don't know how to stop it, because just like Johnny, you don't want to look foolish in front of your students. You don't want them to see you as somebody that the kid won, right? Now, I see this happen with newer teachers more often. I see this happen with those of us when we're frustrated or overwhelmed. This is not an everyday occurrence unless we start to make this our habit. Now, here's the deal. You are not going to control Johnny. You can have every rule in place, you can enforce them as consistently as possible, and you can encourage Johnny to want to follow your rules by providing some good feedback, positive reinforcement when he does do the right thing. Build a relationship with him so that he doesn't want to do this to you. And then, of course, try to be as engaging as possible in the classroom. But even that, 100%, is not going to guarantee that Johnny's not going to get in trouble. But what you can control, and I've really been talking about this a lot in all of my social media groups recently, is our reaction to what's happening. There are so many times these uncontrollable factors sneak up on us, and we want to fix them. We want to control them because that's where we feel the pressure, the stress, the overwhelm, but we can't. And it's going to cause you more pressure, stress, and overwhelm. So what about if we did this instead? Johnny, you need to sit in your seat when we're in class. No, I don't want to. Well, the rule, Johnny, is that you sit in your seat. So I'm going to ask you one more time, sit in your seat. And then you know what the consequences are going to be. And you leave it. Now you're probably thinking, okay, but what happens then when Johnny doesn't sit in his seat? Well, then you give him the consequence. You don't have another conversation about it. You give the consequence. Okay, Johnny, I told you there would be a consequence. And move right on. And if he continues, okay, Johnny, you're continuing, and move right on. And if you have to get to a point where you have to have a conversation with Johnny, this is what I would do. Boys and girls, I'm going to need to have a short conversation out in the hallway. I'm going to need you to get started on blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to put Sue in charge and Steve. Sue and Steve, will you just kind of monitor the students and make sure nobody gets out of their seats and nobody's doing anything crazy, which I know you're not going to because you know what the rules are. And I'm going to be right here in the hallway. Come on, Johnny, let's go. And then you go. And Johnny will come. Johnny might not come at that moment, but Johnny will come. You wait. And if Johnny doesn't come, that's your next opportunity to go to the next level with consequences. I promise you, it's not going to solve every problem that Johnny has, that he'll never have a problem again. But what it will do is it will keep you a whole lot calmer. It will help you have a much better day. It will help you give this view or this feeling to your students that you've got it under control, that we're not arguing in this classroom, that you are in charge and we're going to follow the rules. But then when you come back inside, the one last thing I'm going to leave you with is when Johnny follows the rule, once you get inside, you have got to praise Johnny. You might be boiling on the inside and very upset with Johnny, but you're going to have to praise Johnny. And you're going to have to say in a very quiet way, thank you for doing the right thing. And then just move on. Now, if you'd like to have more help with any of that, because I know that that can be really very, very difficult, I have just started offering life coaching services for teachers. These are pretty amazing, something new that I came up with one day out on a run. But I started to think about everything that I was seeing on social media and all of the conversations I was having with teachers and administrators over the last couple of weeks, even getting the school year started. We're starting to see teachers, very good teachers, very veteran teachers, experienced teachers, starting to be overwhelmed and stressed. And we know if very solid teachers are feeling that way, probably a lot of our more inexperienced teachers are as well. We can set up services 6, 8, or 12 weeks. And right now in the month of August, I'm running those services for 50% off. So you probably want to get started on those immediately. Anyway, have a great rest of your week, and good luck to all of you that are starting a new school year this week. I know it's going to be amazing. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week.